So the Women's College World Series started yesterday, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
But first, you have to listen to our intro. Hey recruits!
Hey guys!
Welcome to our channel. This is the 8th episode of Finish the Batter. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you're new here, welcome.
Also, if you guys want to be a part of the action and be a part of that lineup, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, turn on our notification bell so you guys never miss an episode.
And as always, guys, on the show, we cover high school ball, we cover travel ball, college ball. We'll even cover recruiting as a whole.
And we're also, from time to time, we'll cover my recruiting journey. We're even going to have special guests come on the show from time to time and to talk about their recruiting journey. And we're even going to be filming at special locations such as like walk-on sports bars and things like that.
Okay, Maddie, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Usually we start off with illusions. Today we're going to start off with the NCAA Women's College World Series.
Woo woo!
That started yesterday, and man, did it start off with a bang.
It sure did. It started off with the game between Oklahoma and James Madison University.
Let me just tell you something. It was everything it was hyped up to be and more. Shannon Sale for Oklahoma started off in the circle, and Odyssey Alexander for James Madison. And it was a pitcher's duel all game except for one inning, and we're about to get into that.
Absolutely. So we said on last week's show not to overlook James Madison University. Like, when I tell you, I go back to last week's show, watch it. I called it. We even said, like, we want to see them go far. And I did not think they were going to beat Oklahoma, but well.
Well, here's the thing, guys. You know, Oklahoma set records all year. They had 146 total home runs. That's insane. That's second all time. They averaged 2.8 home runs per game. They have 5 All-Americans on their roster this season.
That's insane.
5 All-Americans. They were 50-2 coming into this game. You talk about an embarrassment of riches for Patty Gasso, the head coach at Oklahoma. I mean, from top to bottom, it's nuts.
No, that was bad.
It's nuts.
And it was a pitcher's duel except for the third inning. Sarah Jubas broke the game out for JMU with a 3-run bomb.
Yeah, it was a bomb.
It was crazy. And I was like,
I went nuts.
Wow. Literally, I was watching on my phone and I was like, ah! It was so awesome. And then I think Oklahoma realized they had something coming for them.
Well, you know, sometimes, you know, people think that teams are a fluke. You know, James Madison's from a really small D1 conference. And I think most people looked at this game and went, you know, Oklahoma's going to overpower them.
Yeah, Oklahoma's going to blow them out,
and,
but no.
You know, Odyssey Alexander and that team as a whole, I think, changed people's perception of small D1s in softball. Because here's the thing. There's a bunch of softball girls out there in this world.
Yep.
And not everyone gets recruited by a D1. You have a lot of great players playing D2, D3, NAIA, NJCAA. There's just so many different levels, and not everybody can be recruited by coaches all the time. There's only so many coaches and
so many schools and
so many players, right? So this is one of those, and let me just say something about Odyssey Alexander. She didn't even get recruited, really, until the coach for JMU went to watch her teammate play in a showcase and found her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She didn't play for some elite, you know, like Impact Gold or, you know, Birmingham Bolt type organization.
Yeah.
No, she played for a small type showcase team. And so that just shows you guys that if you're there, you'll be found.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, so anyway.
So then in the bottom of the inning, the freshman of the year and the NCAA, Tiara Jennings hit a 3-run bomb to tie it for Oklahoma. At this point, I was like, oh, Oklahoma's coming back. You know, they're ready to play. But, I mean, then after that, I went back to the pitcher's duel at the end of the 7th inning and going into the extra innings with a 3-3 score.
Yeah, I've seen Tiara Jennings play a few times this year. She's a stud.
She's a unit. She is solid. Like she is.
She doesn't look like a freshman.
Oh no!
When you look at her, she looks like a junior or senior.
Yeah, I would expect. I mean, the way she plays.
She's just different, and you know, I think she's
built different.
Yeah, she's just from California. She's from California, and she just it's crazy. Like she just doesn't look like a freshman. Now we went into extra innings, into the 8th inning, tied 3-3.
Yep.
I want to comment on both pitchers real quick.
They studly.
They were solid. Shannon
so
Sale
good.
and Odyssey Alexander, they both had amazing movement on their ball. Sale's rise ball was nasty.
Disgusting.
When I say she had different levels to the rise, she did. She would have 2 or 3 levels that she was working on the hitters each at bat. It was nuts. And then Alexander, she had curveballs. She was hitting all corners
spots,
of the plate. And Oklahoma, I don't think has seen that all season.
No.
And I know that now with the way things are, you can watch film on pitchers, but it's different when you just watch film and you've never seen them, and then you get in the box and then you see it from there. Oh, yeah. It's nuts. They didn't have an answer for her.
Oh, nope. They just were like, oh, well.
And, if you remember in the last episode, what did I say? If Oklahoma's bats weren't working, they might be in trouble.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, they hit that 3-run bomb and everyone was like, oh, they're coming back, but.
Now in the 8th inning, okay?
Yeah.
Kate Gordon hit a solo shot to make it a 4-3 lead for JMU, and I was going crazy. Nuts. I was going in the living room. I was going nuts.
Literally, and then in the bottom, the Sooners were with the tying run. Collegiate Softball Player of the Year, Jocelyn Allo from Hawaii, on her first ever drawing a walk.
Yeah, so she got walked 3 times in this game.
Yep.
They weren't giving her anything to hit. Nothing.
Which, to be honest, why would you? She's Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean,
she's Player of the Year.
The thing is that they were going to make somebody else beat them, and that was their deal, and they played it right. I mean, now Tiara Jennings showed up, but really the other hitters didn't.
Nope.
And so, you might see the other teams now look at the way they played them and say, okay, let's put Jocelyn Allo on base and make somebody else beat us.
Yep.
And so, now she drew the walk in the bottom of the inning, and I thought, okay, I was thinking I was going to see like a 2-run bomb to win it, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But they didn't get her across, and here's the final play.
A fly ball into short left. Gordon is there, and James Madison has done it. One of the greatest upsets in 3 decades of the World Series. The unseeded Dukes have stormed the party in OKC.
Dude, the win for JMU shows athletes that honestly it doesn't matter who you play, go out and give it your best shot because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the one thing I was impressed with James Madison is they could have easily been in awe of OU.
Literally, they could have just been like, we're going to lose, but they didn't at all.
This also shows that just because you don't get recruited by a major D1 doesn't mean you're not a great player or don't deserve to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
They proved everyone wrong.
They proved me wrong. They proved us wrong.
Everyone wrong.
I mean, it was
that was
crazy.
Amazing to watch. Yes, I was pulling for them, but I honestly didn't think that they were going to pull it out.
No, and they did awesome. And then as far as Oklahoma goes, I really want to see how they respond to going into the losers bracket. I mean, they came into the NCAA tournament where everyone thought they were just going to be the champion, and I'm sorry. They have to win 4 games in a 48-hour period to come back. I mean, only 3 teams up to now have ever done that.
Yeah, I mean, because the losers bracket games start tomorrow. Winning 4 games in 2 days is hard.
That's very hard.
Because they're not playing any slouches anymore.
Oh no, they're I mean, it's pedal to the metal.
Now, if anybody can do it, they can.
They can. Yeah, they sure
can. But no, I mean, they have no more. They have
no more leeway. Nothing.
They have no more leeway. Now it's do it or you're done. Okay, so now let's talk about the Oklahoma State and Georgia game.
That was a great
Another really good game.
Another great game.
Carrie Eberly and for Oklahoma State and Mary Wilson Avant for Georgia got the start for each of their teams respectively in the circle. And you know what? They pitched really well.
They pitched great. It was another pitcher's duel in this game, but in the 3rd inning, Shea Factor hit a 2-run bomb, making the score 2-0 for Oklahoma State after 3.
Yeah. And then in the 5th inning, Georgia had a chance with 2 runners on. Haley Busby of Oklahoma State, absolute hose to home plate.
Dude, she was a goner.
It was a single to right field. She scoops, throws, and then the catcher tags her. I mean, it was a hose. Yeah. And honestly, you find out later that comes back to bite them.
Literally.
Because that run, not having that run. And the only reason that runner didn't score is for all you runners out there that are rounding third, if you're sent home,
you better go.
You better go. She held up for 1 step.
Yep.
And it cost her.
I mean, there's just no doubt about it. You have to go.
Yeah. In the top of the 6th, Georgia cuts the lead in half with an RBI single, making it 2-1.
Yep.
Should be 2-2.
Literally. And then Allison Freebury hit a RBI single in the bottom of the 6th to make it 3-1 for the Cowgirls.
In the top of the 7th inning, Ellie Armistead hits a 2-run double to cut the lead to 3-2, and they hold the runner at third base.
That's crazy.
I mean, I looked at it and I'm like, run!
I'm like, send her, go, but...
and that was the coach's decision. But going back to that run they left, earlier, It should be 3-3, and that could have been the winning run.
Absolutely. And then Georgia leaves the tying run standing 60 feet away and drops the game 3-2. I mean, it was a great game, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But right now, this World Series, I mean, it looks like it's going to be the best one of all time. It
could be. And tonight, Oklahoma State faces James Madison in the winner's bracket. Ooh, that's going to be a phenomenal game, and I can't wait for that.
I mean, if they can beat OU, I think they can definitely beat OSU.
Yeah, I'm pulling for them to beat Oklahoma State, and honestly, I think they will tonight.
I agree.
You know, just to touch on the Alabama game, I actually took her and her brother to hit yesterday, so I didn't catch the whole game. But I tell you what, Alabama dominated Arizona,
dude,
5-1.
Pitcher, can we just talk about Montana Fouts?
Yeah, it was dominating, guys.
I mean,
she had 16 strikeouts.
16 strikeouts. I mean, that
16 strikeouts.
You don't see that. You don't see that. I mean, especially in D1, you don't see that.
No.
I mean, that's crazy.
You know, and you only have 21 outs.
I mean, that's...
You only have 21 outs in softball. She had 16 of those were strikeouts.
That's crazy.
She only allowed 2 hits. Guys, that's insane. I don't care who you are. That's
I'm
insane.
sorry. After that, she should rip off her jersey and frame it on the wall and just, I quit.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, she should just hang it up.
That was to me, one of the most dominating World Series performances of all time.
After that, she better just hang it up because that was so good.
Yeah.
All right, Dad, so let's talk about that UCLA and Florida State game.
Let's talk about it. So Rachel Garcia, who's on the U.S. Olympic team for the Summer Olympics, she started for UCLA, and Catherine Sandercock, who's a great pitcher in her own right, started for Florida State.
I mean, another pitcher's duel? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so far, the pitchers have been the story of the World Series.
Literally.
We had a pitcher's duel going through 4 innings. No score.
Nope. And then in the 5th inning, UCLA scored on an error, making it 1-0 after 5. And then in that 6th inning, UCLA scored on an RBI double. And then Maya Brady, who will forever be known as Tom Brady's niece, broke the game up with a 2-run bomb.
Yeah, so Maya Brady is actually Tom Brady's sister's daughter. Mm-hmm. So he actually did a pregame pep talk for them. They showed it at the beginning where they showed all of the players doing a Zoom call yesterday morning. And he did a Zoom call for them just to kind of give them a pep talk.
Oh, that's
that's really cool.
That is really cool.
It's funny because she's a phenomenal player.
She's so good, yeah.
But she's forever going to be known as Tom Brady's niece.
Anyone that talks about her, Maya Brady, Tom Brady's niece. Yeah, literally.
But no, I mean, she made a name for herself last night.
Yeah,
and
as she should, though.
She comes from her mom, I think, played softball. She comes from a very strong athletic family, so... she's going to be good, and I can't wait to see what happens going forward with her. But they end up winning the game 4-1. Florida State bats they just weren't
they
working
weren't
last
awake.
night. They just weren't. So, all right, Maddie. So let's talk about the winners bracket games tonight.
So we've got JMU versus Oklahoma. I'm sorry, I'm picking JMU. With their win the other day, I mean, no. I'm picking them.
I like Oklahoma State a lot. I think they're a solid team. Usually they're a very good fielding team. Yeah. Yesterday they weren't. I'm going to go with JMU. I think they're hot right now.
Me too. And then we've got Alabama and UCLA. I'm choosing Alabama.
I'm going to go UCLA.
That's a hard one, though.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Who do you pick? I think they're both equally as good.
I don't expect, now if Alabama, I know they've got a couple of pitchers. If they pitch Montana Fouts again, which I don't expect them to.
No, me neither.
But if they do... she's got to be on her game again.
Which I think she will.
Yeah, but I'm going with Florida State. I'm going with UCLA on that one.
Yeah. And then in the losers bracket, we've got Oklahoma and Georgia. I'm going with Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's going to get back on track in this one. And
I think they're going to take that loss and just turn it around. I think they are.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You don't
have any leeway. Yeah.
They've got today to figure it out, and tomorrow they play. They don't have a choice. Then we've got Arizona and Florida State. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Arizona.
Are you? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Florida State in that one. That one's a tough one for me again.
Yeah, I mean, they're both equally as good. So.
Yeah, I'll take Florida State. Okay, Maddie, so let's shift gears here for a moment. We're going to talk about this weekend with Illusions. Mm-hmm. You're playing in the Impact Gold Summer Invite.
The weather kind of sucks, so we might not get to play.
It beyond sucks.
But
it looks like it's supposed to rain for the next week and a half.
I know.
The chances of you playing are slim, but we'll cover your schedule anyway.
Okay, so game 1, we've got Next Generation 16U. Game 2, we've got Impact Gold PTX. And then game 3, we've got Firecrackers 16U Augusta. Game 4, we've got Bombers HTX Dobson 16U. And then game 5, we've got Texas Glory HTX 04.
Don't really know. We haven't played these teams, so don't really know what to expect. But that's always good. It's always good to play teams you've never played, which is nice. Played.
And also you get to see new things. So I'm excited that we don't know the teams. So.
Right. Okay, Maddie. So I want to, talking about showcasing, I want to do something a little different each week going into these showcases. I want to highlight a few teams from each of the showcases. Okay. And if you're watching and your team is showcasing in the same tournament,
comment down below.
Comment below, and we'll highlight. We'll get with you. Leave an email. We'll email you, and we'd like to get some information because we want to highlight as many teams and get your name out there as much as possible.
Absolutely. So first team we've got is Prolific Fast Pitch. They won TFL in the fall, and my old teammate Hannah Lear plays for them. They're cold.
Yeah, they're very good. They've got several D1 commits. And watch out for Hannah Lear because she's gonna, she's already turning some heads.
Things.
She is a D1 talent at pitcher. Period. Hannah, keep it up, girl.
Keep it up, absolutely. Then we've got Bombers Coyus. They finished top 8 in the fall with TFL. My high school teammate and old teammate Courtney Bellinger and my old teammate Peyton Watson. They both play for them. Yeah.
So Prolific, they play Bombers Coyus in the first game.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
That would be fun to watch, and I'm hoping that they stream it so that I can watch it. They also play Impact Gold National Jones.
Oh.
They're always
good,
legit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always tough. Then they play the Blaze KTX 16U United, which is they're really good too. Mm-hmm. And then going to Bombers Coyus, they play Impact Gold National Rodriguez. They're in the top 3 in TFL in the fall.
That's crazy.
They're really good. They play Texas Blaze also, and they play Next Gen Figueroa. We've played them several times.
We've always played them.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
They're pretty good. They're solid. They're solid fielders, and they're solid hitters too. Mm-hmm. And they also play Impact Gold National Jones. Those are going to be some tough games for both teams.
I agree, for sure. So, guys, we actually have one of my Illusions teammates. She plays for Liberty. They're still in the Texas High School playoffs.
They are in the state championship game.
That is crazy for 4A. I mean, I'm so proud of Alex. You guys are awesome. Go win it all. Win it all for us.
Do it. Yeah, bring home that trophy, kid.
Absolutely. So as you guys know, we have our first special guest. This is Sebastian.
What's up?
He plays for Grand Oaks Varsity Baseball. He plays for Hunter Pence. He's awesome. He's a stud. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So in this segment, we're going to talk about his recruiting journey, his high school journey. We're going to talk about his high school teammates and things that they've been doing, and just his summer progress and things like that. So first, we're going to start off with high school. So tell us a little bit about that.
I'll tell you what, it was a phenomenal experience. I think that it was basically living up to the dream.
Oh, I bet.
As growing up, you see all these people go through high school, and it's almost your turn. And
you're like, ah.
Yeah, it's my turn. So I think we surprised ourselves this season.
I think y'all surprised everyone, to be honest. I mean, first year 6A school going into the round 4 of playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, we had a tough district, obviously, with the Woodlands, Oak Ridge. They're always in like the talks of being in round 3, round 4 of the playoffs, and I think we were just lucky enough and we were good enough to surpass them.
I mean, y'all are definitely way good enough.
I think so. I think we had a lot of talent. We had a really talented senior class.
Oh, absolutely.
We had a lot of young guys that are coming up that will help the program be successful in the future.
How did you feel about being like one of the only juniors on varsity?
I feel like it was a little stressful at first. I mean, I'm having to prove myself to these seniors that I'm worthy to be on this team. They obviously have been on this team, and they've been together since they were freshmen. And this is my first year on varsity, and it was, I did pretty well.
I think so too, for sure.
Obviously I didn't start. There's going to be there's a list of people before you get to you, because I mean there's
especially
all
their
these
seniors, seniority.
You really had to prove yourself to be on that field first.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about your post-district, all-district team. So who made first team?
Well, we had Sloan Lair at first, Jace Farnsworth at second base, Larry Drake at shortstop, AJ McCready at third base, Preston Havener, our catcher, Cole Worrell at pitcher, and Jason Berger at also pitcher. I'd say these guys they all deserve it.
Oh, absolutely. I agree for sure. Who made second team all district?
We had Shane Martin and Connor McBride. Connor McBride being the outfielder and Shane Martin being our designated hitter. Both studs. They were both also in the conversation of being first team, but it's just how it goes. It's a voting system, so coaches meet together.
Vote.
Yeah, and so Shane came clutch in a lot of games, hitting 3 or 4 home runs this season against the Woodlands, and just a bunch of great pitching, great teams, and most recently in this Woodlands game played really, really well. So
who made their honorable mention team?
Well, we had Antonio Sabala,
Clutch, absolute stud.
Made the he was player of the game for
Woodlands playoff game. I was there.
Biggest game of the season.
Craziest game in the whole wide world.
When I tell you it was a dream come true, I mean, that's just what it was.
I'm sorry. He better hang up his jersey for that on the wall. Frame it and quit.
We'll get into that later, though. But we also had Carson Kellroy, our relief pitcher, came in for at least 50% of the games. Like, he was our go-to guy.
Yeah.
Threw his heart out. And we also had our sophomore, throws gas, Hudson Hammond.
Literally.
Hardest throwing kid on the team as a sophomore.
That's crazy.
As he was also our starting QB at our school. Just absolute stud player, a dog. Always wanted to play. Not scared of anything.
That's good. And honestly, as sophomores like Larry and Hudson, I mean, that's a great accomplishment. I mean, Larry made first team, Hudson made third team. I mean, that's great. Imagine being a sophomore and making that. That's, I mean, a big accomplishment.
They have bright futures, especially Hudson next year. He'll have his spot on the field somewhere. So he might just be first team next year. You never know. So let's get into let's just talk about the Woodland series.
Yeah, so in third round playoffs, they played the Woodlands and swept.
Yes, it was a
hard series.
Crazy game.
It was a crazy game, both games, but I mean, it was great.
Game one, we thought we had it in the bag.
We could kind of see that from like me being in the stands kind of point of view. You know, we were like, oh, like they really need to play. You know, they've beaten the Woodlands before. You know, they were like, oh, you know, we're going on the fourth round. But I mean, we could kind of tell. And so when they were struggling, it was like, well, you know. Yeah. Well,
in the first inning, we had 2 leadoff bombs. One being our sophomore leadoff hitter, Larry Drake, and like I said, kid that hits bombs, Shane Martin. Hit another solo bomb, and 2 batters later.
We were all like, oh my gosh, Jay.
But things happen in baseball. The next inning, we let up 3 runs, falling with our ace pitcher, Jason Berger. His arm started to hurt, 27 pitches in, so we had to pull him. So, you know, things happen. So they obviously came back with 3 more runs, and they were up on us. So we were like, oh man, it's going to be a game. So we're going to have who wants it more. So later in the game, on and off, the ace for the Woodlands pitched his heart out. I know the guy.
He did really good.
Plays for, he's a senior that just graduated. Played with me on Hunter Pence. Yeah. Dylan Kerbo. Absolute stud.
I thought so.
Can't speak anything bad about him. Had 4 doubles in 2 games of the series.
That's crazy. And I was very surprised when they pulled him in that game. I was like, why would you do that?
Well, we'll get into that in a second because, I mean, it was a tough situation. Obviously, he's trying to get the 3 outs that they need to win because they were up 7-5, and all they needed was 3 to get out. So what happened was every baseball player's dream.
Literally.
Every baseball player's dream.
Swear.
It was bases loaded. He had walked the bases loaded.
Why? I'm sorry. Why would they walk? Like I get it, but why? Like just let Shane hit.
Yep.
I mean, I guess because he hit a home run, but still, like. That's crazy.
We had bases loaded, 2 outs. He ended up getting down in a 3-2 count. So
full count.
Yep.
2 outs, bases loaded.
With a new pitcher in, obviously. So he's having to see a new arm now. It's struggling. His heart's probably pumping going 1,000 miles an hour.
I would cry if I was in there. I'd be like,
Tony answered the call. He hit a ball up the middle, immediately scoring 2 since you immediately you're stealing. You're stealing because bases loaded, 2 outs. It's whatever.
7-7 score.
He ended up tying it. He was guaranteed tying it with 7. The guy in center field, ball, misjudged it. Ball gets under his glove.
Everyone in the stands was like, oh.
Coach Farrell waved him around, and we won the game.
That and the entire stands was on their feet, on the bleachers. I've never, been shaking more in my life. I was, shaking for them, but also I was like, I've never seen this before. I've never been in a situation like that.
It was just unbelievable. As a player, it was just something that we were all it's tight. We were all just scared and didn't
Especially
know what
watching
was going to
from
happen.
the dugout. I mean, knowing in your head, you're pulling for Antonio, but you can't do anything about yourself. So you're like, I don't know, you don't even know what to do.
And he answered the call. We won the game. We ended up coming back the second game, winning it 10-6 and winning the series, moving on to round 4 against Rockwall, where we fell short and. Because we couldn't hit the ball. So it's just baseball. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. So how's your recruiting going with colleges and stuff like that for Hunter Pence?
This fall, I played probably my best season of baseball. Hitting about 400 with 2 bombs, 4 doubles. It was definitely something that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Especially coming off a meniscus injury earlier in the year. I during football tore my meniscus, so that really was a confidence booster for myself.
Which, that's an amazing accomplishment, because I know how hard it was for you to come back from surgery and all that, and try to get back into everything, and just really getting your confidence back.
And because of COVID, obviously NCAA and the scouting, it was very low, so I only got minimal looks from a couple colleges, one being HBU and Howard College, which is JUCO in Texas. Power 5, they're a big baseball school.
Yeah.
So that is something that I'm not looking down at. It's something that it's honestly an honor, obviously, to get something so big.
Yeah.
And going into this summer, I have a lot going on. This is most important summer as a junior.
I bet. What's your biggest tournaments? Anything you're excited for?
We have a perfect game tournament in Georgia.
Wow, that's far. That's nice.
Yes. We have, I think there's 100 teams that are invited, the top 100 teams in the country, and
wow.
We're lucky enough to.
Yeah. Better pat yourself on the back.
Well, 2 teams made Hunter Pence tournament. I mean, they're not the tournament in Georgia.
Yeah.
And the top team and also my team, we had, which is crazy to think that both the 22 class teams are making such a big tournament, which is a big thing for not just us, but the organization.
For sure.
Gives them a lot of good looks and reputation. And there's 100 teams that are all as good as we are. So it's a big moment for us. This fall, we also go to Jupiter, Florida. It's actually the biggest tournament in the country. That's amazing. The top 25 teams are invited.
Wow.
And what we do,
that's great.
We combine both teams, the 22 class teams, and we'll obviously go out and do what we can. And a lot of schools are going to be there. So MLB scouts, it's going to be fun. Actually, tomorrow, as we say this, when we're recording this, obviously, I have a scouting thing to do where there's gonna be a couple schools.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think.
Is it like a camp, or is it kind of like a tournament, like a round robin type thing, or?
No, it's a camp.
Yeah.
I know in the next couple of weeks I also have another college invitational camp where I know big schools like Baylor, HBU, Bowling Green, Ohio University, and JMU softball.
Yeah, woo woo.
They're all going to be there. So, and Texas State, sorry. Okay. So a lot of big D1s. So very excited, just ready to show off, see what you can do.
Let them see what you can do.
It's the first time really since COVID that I've been able to just do what I do best.
Absolutely.
And just play my game.
So here's a question. So if you were to ever get the opportunity to be drafted out of high school for the MLB, would you?
Depends. So obviously MLB is a little bit tricky. If first or second round, you're getting that signing bonus, obviously, for a lot of money. So it's kind of a game you want to play. If it's not enough money to where because $1 million nowadays isn't a lot.
No,
it really isn't. Because tax, it's just not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a game. So whether if you're going to get drafted, you need to make sure that your college is paid for when you do go to the MLB. So yes and no. That's my answer for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you always got to have your options open.
What team would you want to play for?
Ooh, somewhere south. I don't like being cold.
Yeah.
So
no. That's so ironic because I'm going to Kansas, but I don't like being cold either.
Yeah, Astros, hometown, Houston, boy. Astros would be fun. Teams like Arizona Diamondbacks and California. It'd be fun. I think that'd be a dream come true. Obviously, that's what we're all working for as baseball players, is to have the chance to be in the show. But first, we'll just stay at college.
Yeah, worried about college for sure.
Worried about college, so.
Hey guys, so Sebastian, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show today. You were awesome.
We appreciate you.
You're welcome back anytime. We'd like to have you back on during the summer to see how your summer's going. Things like that. All right,
It'd be awesome.
So let's talk about next week's show.
Awesome. So we'll wrap up the Women's College World Series, see who wins and everything like that.
We will try to get in an extra show here where we cover the next 2 days. We can't promise anything, but we'll try to do that. But we will definitely wrap it up on next week's show. We're also going to cover the Triple Crown Texas State Championships in Plano that you'll be playing in and go over your schedule for that as well.
Yep, that'll be awesome. And I guess...
And guys, that's the ball game.
Bye.
Bye.